just see if we can get all these greens to go here. Blue, 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 blue. Come on, everybody. Okay, I see us. Do I see us? Do I see us? Okay, Jordan, we're starting to stream. So, Jordan, why don't you count us backwards from 10 and we will play the music. So, go ahead.
All right. 1 second here.
Okay, we're on you. We're waiting. LinkedIn's having a problem connecting, but everything else is fine. Jordan, you want to count backwards or should I do it myself?
All right, you just give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
Okay. Millions of people around the world are
All right.
waiting to see what we're going to do.
All right. Great show. Going again.
All
10,
right. 10, 9,
9,
8.
8,
Come on, everybody join.
7,
7,
Seven,
6,
6,
six,
5,
5, 4. It's
4,
going to be a long
four,
night.
3,
3,
three,
2,
2,
two,
1.
1.
Here, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I got to turn on the audio share. Here we go. Listen, it's been 2 days since I've done this, so it's very, very rough here. Okay, audio. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, play. Hear it?
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you very much to the voice of Ryan Treasure. Bonnie D in the house. Happy to be here. If our panel looks familiar, that's because they were here a few weeks ago and I was so excited about the topic. I decided to invite them back. And the big question of the day is, who is teaching whom? Part one. Part two, who is learning from whom? And we're talking about intergenerational. Boomers, we have one here today. How do they teach Gen Z? We have one here today. How does Gen Y take instruction from Gen X? We've got one of each here. I'm not identifying myself with any of your categories, so leave me out of this, kids. How do they teach? Well, AI to the rescue, we hope. And we're going to talk about how AI is helping understand how each generation, each demographic likes to learn, prefers to learn, but maybe most important, learns best. And how do you blend that? How do you mesh that and meld that with how a teacher likes to teach best? It may not matter how the teacher likes to teach anymore. I just thought about this because it's all about conveying the information and getting that across to the learners who have their own specific way. So let me make sure we're all streaming here. LinkedIn is still having a problem here, but we'll fix that later on if we have to. Okay, let's get back here and we're here. Good. Okay, so let me do my opener and then we will get started here. Oh, good. We're streaming on LinkedIn. Yeah, everybody go, yay, LinkedIn. Come on, yay, LinkedIn. Okay. I have redone all the openings, so I want you to know this is all fresh rhyming, and I want you all to be excited, especially Bob. So today on Technology Revolution, the future of now, the future of learning and AI for each generation. But how? With Bonnie D on her Scarlett mic in command, sorry, I am in command, we'll explore bold predictions for learning at AI's hand. From boomers to Gen Z, our futurists share their view. Maas, you got to help me with your last name pronunciation. Dr. Bob Ficken, Dr. Melanie Peacock, Maas D.
Savanghan.
Savanghan, thank you, and Eric Myers too. Will AI redefine how smart minds prevail? Join us to discover this groundbreaking tale. Here we go. Dr. Bob is our boomer futurist. Welcome, Bob, back from his travels north. Glad you had a good trip. Dr. Bob Ficken once donned a badge to guard his city space. Now he molds minds in lecture halls where ethics set the pace. From deputy sheriff's beat to scholar crowned with PhD, Bob guides tomorrow's leaders to see what AI can truly be. He turned campus AI bans to welcome signs, welcome, welcome for code, and coaches business owners large and small along innovation's road. With a lawman's grit and a scholar's flair in every stand, Professor Ficken shapes our world in our tech future land. What do you think, Bob?
Uh, I love it. Thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome. Sylvie and I worked hard on this. I did a lot of work, but I'll tell Sylvie Mille bisous, 1,000 kisses to Sylvie. No, I had to rework this one. I wasn't happy with what she did. Dr. Melanie Peacock is here, our Gen X futurist, and proud of it. London-born Melanie moved early to Canada's shore. For 30 years now, she has steered HR's ever-changing core. From banking lines to oil fields, her career path took flight. Now her best-selling texts and fiction bring vast readers delight. An award-winning guide through organizational change, Melanie lights learners' pathways with her versatile range. I like to say versatile. Her trailblazing spirit illuminates the leadership sphere. Dr. Melanie sparks insightful transformations far and near. Melanie?
Thank you,
Oh,
Bonnie. And
you're
Sylvie.
you're
Merci.
welcome. You're welcome. Now, pas de quoi. And Maas is here, our Gen Y futurist. Wave hello, Maas. Here he is. Are you frozen? I think he's frozen. Maas, you still with us? Oh, there we go. Okay, he's not frozen now. In Mideast lands, young Maas pondered what makes people grow. Then he returned to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Are you here? Maas, are you here? I'm getting his microphone is off. Okay, let me start again. In Mideast lands, young Maas pondered what makes people grow, then returned to Sri Lanka.
I'm here.
Can you hear me? I don't think he can hear me. Maas, I'm reading your intro, so let me finish, okay? In Mideast lands, young
Yes, I
Maas.
can.
Good, okay. In Mideast lands, young Maas pondered what makes people grow, then returned to Sri Lanka for his education and college to flow. From apparel floors to global workshops, rich and vast, Maas shaped talent with tools, forging skills that were built to last. In Bangalore's tech heart, he learned AI's true art. Now he leads ERP teams with strategy and with heart. Across 3 continents, his coaching lights the way. Maas sparks lifelong learning in eager minds each day. I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you, Bonnie.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
You're
Lovely.
welcome. Glad you were able to hear me. And Eric is our Gen Z futurist. Hello, Eric. How are you? In Calgary's halls, Eric blends HR, finance, and more. 2 MBAs in tow. He fuels his students' eager core. A multi-accolade teacher, sparking curiosity's flame. Eric decodes markets live on air, earning him great acclaim. From banking sites to classroom might, his wisdom is widely heard. He mentors future leaders word by insightful word. His insight sparks innovation, uniting theory and dream. Eric empowers tomorrow with his Gen Z visionary gleam. What'd you think, Eric?
Spectacular as always, Bonnie. Gen Z visionary dream. Leaving me speechless.
I'm glad. Well, then let me talk. With Bonnie D and her panelists, the future is shining bright as AI transforms learning with speed and insight. From classrooms to careers, AI's reach will expand as our learning futurists share their predictions to help us understand. So, how'd we do, Sylvie and I? Pretty good? What'd you think? All thumbs up? Okay, Bob, that's the first time I've gotten an accolade like that from you. Eric, I had to add, instead of award-winning, accolade-winning, accoladed teacher. I made that up, and I thought you would appreciate that. So, okay, Sylvie says to me, bonsoir, Bonnie D, repose-toi bien et à demain sous les feux de Scarlett Mike, avec plaisir. N'hésitez pas si tu souhaites des agencements ou des retouches. Bonne préparation pour l'émission et à demain dans la lumière du Scarlett Mike. If anybody understood that, she's saying yes. So, yes, Melanie got it. Yeah, that was we talk in French. I have a tip for all of you who are using something I've heard about called ChatGPT. If you have multiple projects and you're using it, your AI chatbot might get confused. There is a option on the left-hand side on the page on your dashboard that's called projects. Click the word projects and the plus sign and only do one project. Name each project and only talk to your ChatGPT in that project folder. It will clear up the confusion and everything will be clearer and faster. I learned the hard way, and Mary Nunnally, one of my, you know her, Eric, one of my AI and tech gurus suggested projects. So there you go. So let's go around the table. Let's do a quick adding to the bio before we get started with predictions and quotes. Bob, rumor has it you've been traveling. You want to give us a 2-minute update on what you've seen and heard? Go ahead, Bob. I'm putting you on speaker view.
Sure. I just got back from a cruise to Alaska where we stopped in Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, Glacier Bay, and College Fjord. And then we spent 4 amazing days in Denali and actually had one day when the Denali Peak, otherwise known as McKinley, was clear. And we got to see it in all of its glory. So that was fantastic. And we ended up taking this great adventure on these what we call fat trucks. And to kind of give you just a quick glimpse into that world, these are trucks that are built to go in water lakes. So they've got these huge tires as tall as a person, and they inflate them to only 2.2 psi. So they're very soft. They are, in effect, the suspension for the vehicle. And the purpose of them in real life is they're used as rescue vehicles in the Alaska winters, because they can go through any snow, ice, rivers, whatever, to get to the person that needs help, put them in. They've got heaters, first aid equipment, and all that stuff in them. You know, get them to keep them stable, get them to wherever they need to go. But we ended up going out and we got to go through the brush and through lakes, and we ended up seeing moose and all kinds of critters and fantastic stuff that you wouldn't see if you were just flying over or, you know, taking a hike or whatever. They'd run away from you. So it was very cool.
Very cool.
Dual citizenship. Melanie, can you help me?
Should be happy to. Professor Bob takes a vacation. Well deserved. Very happy to hear you came back safe and sound. And I'm nominating Bob for the cover of Boomer GQ because he looks
you don't have to have a full head of hair. That's okay.
He looks so sharp today, Bob. I'm honored. And Melanie. He took the background, the promo I sent, and he made it his background today. But I'm beyond flattered. Thank you very much, Bob.
There's nothing I can't do with you behind me, Bob.
We'll just walk on by that one. Okay, Melanie, any updates from you before we get to our content? Go ahead, Melanie. Welcome back.
Thank you. And I certainly didn't use your promo as a background, but as the proud peacock, you know, for anybody watching and can actually see us, please feel free to count the peacocks on screen. And you have to include me as one. There you go. Not maybe as quite exciting as Alaska, but I'm thrilled to be back from a family vacation in Kelowna, British Columbia. And we didn't climb any mountains, Bob, but we climbed some driveways to get to some wineries. Tough life, right? So we had some good duvet and great times, making special memories. Yes, we're going to talk about AI and learning, but I certainly learned, as I already knew, but it reinforced the value of relationships and how blessed I am by my wonderful, smart, just dynamic family. And it was a joy.
Wonderful. It's been a traveling summer and it's only May. My goodness gracious. And here I sit in front of my computer listening. Bob, you are muted and the lips are just going a mile a minute there. I don't know what you said.
Buy Cuban cigars in Canada.
Let's leave the tariffs out of this. Okay, let's go to Maas. Welcome back. I love your background, Maas. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is and how you got it? And well, just give us a little update on what you've been up to.
Sure. So let me start with the background. So I went on to Microsoft Copilot and I said, listen, I want a really funky background, include all the different generations in it and make it very colorful. And bang, this is what he came up with. So that's the context of what background looks like.
It is fantastic. I'm taking a close-up picture of you against your background because this has to be saved. Go ahead. So tell us, what have you been up to?
Yeah. So I think everyone's been on holiday. So I've reached a stage where I'm actually planning a holiday. So Japan has been on my bucket list for a long time. So planning to, I was contemplating between 2 destinations. One was Japan and the other being Turkey. And I was using ChatGPT to help me make my decision based on cost and different parameters that I had inputted. So it sort of gave me a comprehensive, different comprehensive options that I'm now left with to decide where my holiday would be. So if you do see any pictures of me on Instagram or on LinkedIn at one of these destinations, it was because of ChatGPT.
That is a great story. We've done shows. Bob and Eric have been on shows where we talk about our favorite AI apps. And one of you, Mary was on and some other panelists were on talking about, somebody mentioned that it's great for helping you plan travel, right? options and where you want to go and what your favorite this or that is, and all kinds of opportunities. Thank you, Maas. That's great. I'm the only one who stayed home. I'll have to come up with something. Eric, come talk to us. What you been up to?
Hi, Bonnie. As always, thank you so much for having me back on your show. It's so great to be here with our amazing panel this morning. So, keeping with the theme of travel, my girlfriend and I were traveling a little bit last week. We were in the province of Saskatchewan. So, for those that aren't as familiar with Canadian geography, it's right above North Dakota and Montana in the States. So, very flat, a lot of wheat crops, grasslands, etc. And when my girlfriend suggested we, make this trip to Saskatchewan, I wasn't overly enthusiastic, as those that know me know that I'm more of a big city, vibrant, lots of, light life type activities when I'm going on vacation. But I had two options to consider. I could, be upset. I could, be dreading this trip, or I could keep an open mind. I could keep an open perspective. And turns out I'm glad that I chose option B. It was one of the best vacations that I've been on, in such a long time. And it was just great on so many different fronts, spending time with her, seeing a different side of Canada, seeing a different kind of part of how people live. We passed a bunch of small towns where there'd be only, 100 or 200 people max. And it really just allowed me to see the different ways that people live, and just reminded me of the importance of keeping an open mind, having a positive attitude. And it's less about where you are with someone and more about kind of the company that you're with. So I've been so blessed to have that trip with her, have that trip with family too, and really just have a beautiful, world on and life on so many different fronts.
Thank you. And here I sit. Welcome to the travel show, by the way. Who needs intergenerational education? Oh, we'll get to that. I've been traveling through technology, and I have bought certain apps that I haven't used in a while, and I decided over the long weekend to go back into what I love to do, which is experimenting with tech. So I use Doodly, which is a drawing cartoon app that you can make videos with. And I did one from my Monday show, Read My Lips, Cool Conversations with Creatives. And there's a man's hand drawing a tree. And then I flipped the tree and made another one with another little owl sitting on a branch. And the first one says, "What's your creativity superpower?" in the text. And the other one says, I'll be talking about it on Cool Conversations with Creatives with AKA Radio Red. And then it says Mondays, and it gives the link. And I put the music, the background music for that show under the video. And I think I posted it on Instagram and Facebook, and just had a blast doing it. And then the other thing was I have a membership for Opus Clip. Many of you heard of it. And I took a recent show on, I had three gentlemen who were visionaries in city planning, smart cities. Bob, you'll love this, in innovation in tech for building. And it was called The Future of Construction and AI Getting Concrete. And I asked them, speaking of travel, everyone, I'm going to link this segue up. They each brought 3 buildings around the world that are benefiting from AI technology in terms of the planning, the construction. So we had a world tour. I put the show into Opus Clip a week later while I had time, and it created over 20 clips between 57 seconds and 2.5 minutes. And then it gives me the viral score, Maas, of how it thinks it will do on social. It say this one has a 97% chance, this one has an 87%, and it puts the text in block letters and highlights as the person speaks. So I picked 6 of those and posted them on LinkedIn and a couple on Facebook. One went on the Reels, and one of the participants, I tagged them all, he reposted and he commented, and they're getting a lot of views. So this was my tour through technology, which really makes me happy. So those are my travels. I want you all to know. So let's go to the opening. Let's see. We got some quotes here from everybody. Let's do these quickly, and then we'll get into the predictions. We want to know how you're all teaching and learning multi-generation. So Bob has sent a quote from Calder, Kaulder, played by Vin Diesel. The movie is The Last Witch Hunter, 2015 fantasy action film based on D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons campaign of Vin Diesel's Melkor the Witch Hunter. We'll just leave that alone. It grossed $147 million, but it didn't please the critics, Bob. They really didn't like it, but it still did pretty well. I don't know what the budget was. Here's the quote. "Every generation has to be given their chance to destroy the world. Oh, Bob, I don't usually leave destructive quotes on the show. Go ahead. Give us a minute of what this has to do with our topic today. Go ahead.
Well, Eric can confirm or deny this, but what I hear from my grandson and my daughter is that we baby boomers have essentially destroyed the world. And I stopped defending baby boomers. I just said, okay, your turn. I mean, you hear this all the time. What a mess they made of the world. What a this and that, and we've done this, and we've destroyed the infrastructure and the resources, and overconsumed and under whatever. I just thought it kind of fits this, right? Because you've got this whole world of AI, and baby boomers are still trying to take it one way, which is, baby boomers want to see it used to make their lives easier. To the extent they can use it to run their households, buy their groceries, whatever, they're all for it. But, there's so many more important uses of it, as Eric and Melanie and Maas will tell you, there's one company, Google, is using AI to create a module to better understand the language of dolphins so that we can actually understand dolphins and communicate with them. I mean, there's so many neat things going on, but first we got to get to this, dispel these rumors that, AI is going to cost jobs. Well, yeah, that's a true statement. It's going to cost probably about 19% of the jobs that are out there. But what we don't talk about enough is it's going to create over 400,000 new jobs.
Yes.
Yes. And people need to understand that it's not going to take away your job if you can learn how to write a prompt. And you don't have to know how to do it, take a class. There are AI modules that will help you create a prompt.
Yep.
There's so many things out there going on, but it seemed appropriate to me. Okay, we've destroyed the world. Your turn.
Okay, I'll let you have a pass on that one. And it is true. Upskilling is probably a frightening term for a lot of people who've been in a job for a long time. But automation has been here for a long, long time. And you look at production lines, you look at manufacturing, and hey, it's happening. And we used to talk about factories as, oh, my kid's working in a factory. Oh, goodness gracious, what a life they have. And then all of a sudden kids showed up in factories holding iPads and using apps in the factories and helping to automate robotics and keep the machines going and keep the assembly line moving. And the kid had an exciting job. Well, gee, Bob, as I'm talking, I'm watching me behind you there, and I'm saying, do I look as good as that one? I don't know. That was not retouched, by the way. I just want to tell you. So got to be true. Anyway, thank you, Bob. I'll let you get away with that. And point well taken. Point well taken. Melanie, let's go to your quote. It's from Ratatouille, voiced by the wonderful comedy actor and comedian Patton Oswalt, 2007 American animated comedy drama film produced by Pixar for Walt Disney. Oh, so many interesting people in the cast. The title refers to the French dish ratatouille, and the species of the main character, who was a rat. Set in Paris, follows a young rat, Remy, voiced by Oswald, who dreams of becoming a chef at Auguste Gusteau, played by Brad Garrett, his restaurant, and tries to achieve his goal by forming an unlikely alliance with the restaurant's garbage boy, Alfredo Linguini, voiced by Ray Romano. What a cast. Here's the line Melanie has selected. If you focus on what is left behind, you will never see what lies ahead. Okay, Melanie, take a minute or two. What does this have to do with our topic, please?
Rats. It's a Ratatouille quote. Somebody had to do it. Oh my gosh.
Good one. Go ahead.
Look, the whole premise of the movie is unlikely alliances and people learning from unlikely characters. But back to the question, who taught who? And without spoiling the movie, for those who haven't seen it, I encourage people to see it. It's a lovely, lighthearted, but rich with meaning and great messaging. So Ratatouille actually learns from the garbage boy turned chef as much as the chef learns from his new rat friend. And they learn the lessons of how to teach each other and how to show each other how to do new things. And it's just a beautiful, heartwarming tale. And it's a message to all of us that if we focus too much on the past, oh, I'm going to lose this, I'm going to not be able to do this anymore, it's taking this away, to build on Bob's point, it's taking jobs away. If we focus on the past, when it comes to AI and the potential to learn and how the different generations can use the resources to help each other learn and grow, will miss all the opportunities that the future holds.
Very well put. And you said it's a tail.
Touche.
Rat-tat-tail, tooey. Okay, stop that, Bonnie. Okay, thank you very much, Melanie. Well done, and nice segue from Bob. And let's go to the quote Maas has picked. And Maas has picked a quote from, in the movie Any Given Sunday, a 1999 sports drama film. Going back a little time, you were born then, Maas. Let's not go there. Head coach Tony D'Amato, played by Al Pacino. Directed by Oliver Stone, a fictional once great professional American baseball team, the Miami Sharks, are struggling to make the 2001 AFFA affiliated football franchises of America playoffs. The team is coached by 30-year veteran D'Amato, who has fallen out of favor with the young, we've got an exposition of generations here. I like this. Young team owner, Christina Pagnacci, and his offensive coordinator, Nick Trozier, who is the successor, blah, 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 blah. Oh, what a cast. Cameron Diaz, Al Pacino, Dennis Quaid, Jamie Foxx, and Margaret Lauren Holly. Oh, be still my heart. Here's the quote Maas has picked. Life's this game of inches, so is football. But in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. Okay, Maas, translate this for our topic, please. Love the quote.
Sure. So I look at it in two perspectives. I mean, the first perspective is you have Al Pacino, who is probably at that point in time a Gen Y, speaking, or maybe even, maybe even a Gen X. I'm not quite sure, but he's talking to a couple of players who are Gen Z, and the way he approaches the situation is he taps into their emotions. And I think when we spoke last time as well, it was all about tapping into emotions and connecting with Gen Zs on a different level. So that's the first perspective. The second one is life is a game of inches, which basically symbolizes, there are many disruptions that happen all around us, including AI, chat GPTs, the Microsoft Copilots, etc. And we can choose to ignore these disruptions. But if we are to move forward, if we are to adopt one or two of those, we have the potential to change our lives. And I think that's symbolic of what they say, because life is a game of inches. If you take a step back, you might lose the game, right? So there are small little elements that will take us forward. It's up to us to see how we can adapt and adopt those into the way that we work, into the way that we forge forward in our careers. And maybe ChatGPT, maybe AI is one of them, which we might be very reluctant to embrace, but it seems like insignificant. But if we do, it might give us a massive head start. So that's my perspective.
Thank you. Very, very, very interesting. And when we get to our predictions in a couple of minutes after Eric's quote, we're talking about different generations embracing the opportunities, the positive impacts that could make a positive difference in the learning education system. The teachers, the students. Who's going to benefit from this? How can they all embrace and understand each other better? Okay, walk a mile in my shoes, talk a mile in my class. I don't know what we're talking about here. Eric, let's go to your quote. You've said, okay. Melanie, do you happen to be this person's mother? I don't know if I should have allowed this quote to be picked for this show. Bob, Maas probably knows this. The attribution is a song by Nirvana called Smells Like Teen Spirit from 1991. Bob, don't cough up whatever you're drinking. It's the opening track and lead single from the band's second album, Nevermind, one word, released on the DGC Records. 13 million plus units were sold worldwide. It's one of the best-selling songs of all time, marking the point where grunge entered mainstream music. It's their biggest hit around the world from 1991 and 92. #1 in Belgium, France, New Zealand, and Spain. And the late Kurt Cobain, guitarist and singer, described it as an attempt to write the ultimate pop song inspired by the Pixies' soft and loud dynamics. The title is from a phrase written by his friend Kathleen Hanna, who was a singer with the Riot Girl band Bikini Kill. She was referencing the deodorant Team Spirit, but Kurt Cobain misinterpreted it as a revolutionary slogan. Okay, Eric, I'm getting to the lyric here. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now. Entertain us. Eric, you better rescue this one, please. I have no idea where you're going with this. I'm letting everybody get a pass today. Go ahead. We got rats. Okay, go ahead. Go, Eric.
Lots of different ways we could take this interpretation of Nirvana, Bonnie, but I promise all paths will lead to our AI conversation. So in previous, times that I've been on your show, I've talked about Kurt Cobain before and kind of his thoughts on what artificial intelligence is today, as well as, the interpretation he'd have as to how AI would be used, in the creation of music and, the interpretation of, lyrics and other things on that front. The reason why I feel that this song and especially these lyrics are, relevant to the conversation that we're going to be having is as educators, no matter what generation we're referring to, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen X, baby boomers, etc. It's still all about entertaining, our audience. It's still all about that human connection. It's still all about those, conversations that, go above and beyond strictly, what's this discussed, sorry, in a class and curriculum. So that song reminds me of just the importance of, having that face-to-face human connection, having the ability to still entertain our audience. And as I want to give Bob credit for this one, we've discussed many times, in previous conversations, it's a two-way, form of learning. As much as we want to educate and, entertain our audience, they're doing the same for us as well. So that song especially, reminds me of the importance of, entertaining said audience and the importance of, that face-to-face, lighter-hearted conversations that we as educators have to still be comfortable having, no matter the generational gaps or generational differences.
What an interesting array of quotes today. I should do a show with just the greatest quotes ever quoted on this show. That would be interesting. Maybe toward year end, we'll do a crystal ball on the most interesting quotes and have you all relate them to anything, your topic on tech. Okay, thank you all. That was fascinating. All right, let's go to predictions. I'm going to start with Dr. Bob. May I call you Dr. Bob, sir? Is that okay?
For today.
For today, all right, Dr. Bob Ficken. We'll be very formal because look at him dressed up. Look at this jacket. Oh my goodness. Spiffy, Bob, just really spiffy. So Bob wrote the following in place of a description of a prediction. He wrote the following, and this is firsthand experience, what he as an instructor was doing. And Bob is our boomer futurist in learning today. So Bob says, I teach 30 to 50 students in my courses, and they vary from boomer to Gen Z. I use setmore.ai to schedule meetings and such, which include virtual meeting options. I use Brisk Teaching AI to create and maintain a dynamic and focus-driven classroom. I use teachermade.ai to transform PDF files and documents into activities for Gen Zs and others. Okay, Bob, put you back on speaker view. Let's have the lowdown. What's this all about?
The one that I'm really having fun with is using Yes Chat AI to convert boomer talk into something Gen Z can better understand. In fact, I've got one loaded up. Can I share it with you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, let me hold on. I'm going to get rid of the sound sharing here. Okay, sharing's open. Go ahead.
So as you can see, what I did is I typed in, this is OpenAI translator.
Mm-hmm.
The most important component of leadership today is empathy, and this is what it comes up with for Gen Z. You can tell me if this is right or wrong, Eric. Real leaders vibe with their people. If you can't understand where your team is coming from, you're already losing.
Eric?
So
I like it.
Bob, do another one. Give us some more examples. This is great. This is great. I didn't know you were going to do this. This is wonderful.
Sure.
Scroll down. Let's see more.
Let's see if we got any more questions here.
Well, read the boomer one first. The first one was, scroll up again. Let's see what the boomer was that you
Boomer
put
one was the most important component of leadership today is empathy, and that's what it came up with for Gen Z.
I like that.
Leaders
Okay,
vibe
give
with their
another one.
people.
Yes, chat.ai. Fascinating. You got another one?
Yep.
Go ahead. Oh, we're doing this live. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And it spell checks too. The most crucial component of change management is getting early buy-in. Okay. And the answer is, Bob, read the answer.
If people aren't on board from the jump, the whole thing's gonna flop.
Wow. Eric, what'd you think? You approve that?
I approve that one. And then just briefly, what Bob was scrolling on earlier is what really stood out to me is Gen Zs tend to, like more casual based language as opposed to maybe more corporate, interpretations or corporate explanations of something. And I don't want to speak for, again, all Gen Zs or all generations, but in the classes that I've taught, I've found that to be especially prevalent. Gen Zs tend to be a little bit more receptive into more, I don't say layman's terms, but something that's a little bit more down to earth, something that's a little bit more informal while still keeping, some professional element. And that's something that I think we're going to continue to see, in a lot of different, classes, especially in business
Thank you.
programs. So something that I think as educators, we can continue to, capitalize on, especially as the next generations.
Thank you. I'm going to
into.
work my way up. I want to go to Gen Y. Maas, go ahead, talk to us. What did you think of that language? Is that something that your Gen Y would have
Yeah,
appreciated?
I was actually putting my hand up because I wanted to echo what Dr. Bob and Eric mentioned as well. Well, what we've seen is in the lingo, in the language, in the way that Gen Z communicates as well is very casual. What we've seen even with our customers is the way that they communicate is like how they communicate on WhatsApp, even if it's an email. Now, some customers do not appreciate it, but then again, I mean, that is the way that they communicate. Back in the day, we would say dear someone, but now it's at the customer, So it's a difficult one. We're not exactly sure where to rein it in, but that's something we're seeing as a general trend around us right now.
Fascinating. Melanie, what do you think? Gen X.
So, Bob, what a fascinating tool. And thank you for the examples. But we could
Great.
also flip it because I've worked with so many students and I say, I appreciate that you communicate via text and WhatsApp and other mediums. But when you enter a corporate setting, I taught in a business school or even when I'm teaching my education students, you have to adjust to your managers and supervisors. It's not the other way around. Whether you like it or not, it's the way it is. So perhaps you could type how you would think you'd like to express it, and ChatGPT will tell you how to make it more formal. So the tool can be used in reverse, because I always say, if you're not sure, err on the side of caution. We used to teach people that about how to dress at the office. They'd say, I'd say, err on the side of caution and be a fancy, dapper gentleman, like the three panelists that I'm fortunate enough to work with. And of course, the beautiful Bonnie D. I'm not talking about wearing ball gowns, but of course, err on the side of caution.
You don't know.
Dress up, right? Dress for the job you want. Communicate for the job you want. So if this is how your managers, who are typically going to be Gen X or baby boomers, they will not appreciate informal communication many times. So you can use the tool in reverse.
Interesting. Bob, you set that up for Boomer Talk to Gen Z. You could set it up for any generation?
Any generation to any generation.
You want to experiment? You want to put it back up? Maas?
No.
Done
enough sharing.
Oh, no. I want you to share. I'm going to ask a favor here, Bob. I want Maas to give you a sentence. And Maas, you tell us what the destination is for you are Gen Y. I want you to give us a destination generation that Bob will set it up. Bob, if you could do that quickly, is that okay?
I'm trying.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
If not, we'll have to come back for another session where we're going to do the whole hour. We'll just be putting into these translation apps for a generation. Bob, if you can, I don't want to put pressure on you, but if you can, bring it up again and let's see if we can.
Good.
Okay. Sharing's open.
Yeah.
Please stand by. We're not having technical difficulties. There we go. We're negotiating. Okay. Maas, you want to give him a sentence?
So you're only as good as your last delivery.
As what, Maas?
As your last
As your
delivery.
last delivery.
Last delivery.
And I would like to see how this is translated again back to Gen Z, because this is something that's very direct, which I would normally see in Gen X or Y. But providing the feedback to Gen Z, I'm not really sure how I would communicate it to them.
Okay. Let it run. Thank you for doing this, Bob. Okay. Gen Z might not use the term delivery, or it's going too fast up. When it stops, yeah, unless it's literal like Uber Eats. Oh, that's funny. So this version focuses on output or contribution. Keep showing up or they'll forget real quick. What do you think of that, Maas?
So I think, again, I think it's a very softer statement. And I think that I'm not a Gen Z, obviously, but I'm wondering, would that relate more? Because it's not as harsh or as straightforward as, it's only as good as your last performance or your last delivery. Whereas this is keep showing up or they'll forget real quick.
Eric, you want to
seems
comment?
softer, sugar-coated. I don't know.
Eric, you're a Z person. What do you think?
I really like that one. And I think just going back to what Dr. Peacock was mentioning about kind of meeting your audience where they are as opposed to expecting the other way around. So it's all about balance on a lot of different fronts. Ultimately the employer is the one that has that right. So this is, I guess, the HR side of me speaking. They get to choose who works in an organization as opposed to who doesn't work here. Management has the right to decide, who's they hire versus who they don't hire. I think it's more about just reading the room, understanding your audience. We all know this, the importance of context, as opposed to formal meeting versus more casual conversation, meetings with stakeholders, shareholders, investors, as opposed to, let's say, a regular, informal business chat. So I think just understanding how AI can assist, both sides or all parties, in the process is really key, but still leaving that room for interpretation, leaving that room for flexibility, human value, et cetera. And I've said this so many times on your show, Bonnie, and I'm sorry to keep saying this, but it's just so important. It's just the importance of empathy. That's something that has served me well, not just as an educator, but I'd like to think as a human being is just trying to empathize with an audience, in a formal setting, informal setting.
Thank you.
And I hope, that continues to be the case, for all of us,
Yes.
past, present, and futures. We can never fully lose the importance of just, empathy, eye contact, body language, etc. Very, very crucial.
Well put. And my advice always when I was doing marketing for big companies was know your audience. And we are adding to that, empathize with your audience. Bob, comment, go.
Well, it's interesting to me that for many years, at least the last decade or two, many corporations have focused on diversity, inclusion, equity, things like that. But you don't hear companies talk about accommodating generational differences.
No, that's why we're here, because it's time, right? It's time. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very interesting. Melanie, anything you want to say about the delivery quote?
Even as the Gen Xer here, I found it catchy. And I think that the message, the medium is the message, back to that great quote. And so there's many ways. I think in the old tell them again and tell them again, you can use all words and different phrases because you never know who even personally something will resonate with. So I think it's the importance of, understanding the power of words. One of my favorite quotes, and I can't remember who said it, is the meaning of words is not in the words, it's in us. That's really powerful. And I just want to close with Bob's comment. Love the insight, Dr. Bob, about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's not only about accommodating generational differences. I'm going to go further to say it's capitalizing on generational differences, because this goes right back to the topic, how we can learn and grow by empathizing and listening and working and learning from each other.
Well put. And I think there's a paraphrase on that, a Maya Angelou quote, something about it's not the words you say, it's people will remember not the words you say, but how you made them feel. There's the empathy, there's the emotion, there's the connection, there's the understanding. And that brings me to a prediction from, by the way, can you all stay a little bit past the hour, past the top if we keep going? Maas, are you good for time? Okay, so I'm telling Jordan, our engineer, we might go past the hour and you can close us out where you are, but I'm going to keep going because I think we have a lot more to say. But let's see how it goes. So Melanie, prediction number 2, I'm going to read a little bit, and this is important. You say Gen X needs to interact with material, videos, and opportunities to respond to questions and test knowledge along the way and receive recognition for what they have learned. There must be tangible outcomes and rewards. That's your generation, Gen X. So why don't you expand this for about a minute? Let's go around the table and see what everybody thinks. Melanie, go.
Thank you, Bonnie. And this really ties into a story that you shared with me and my fellow panelists before we signed on, right? About you were interacting in an educational online setting and working with different people, and you and the instructor built in this phenomenal way to get people to respond to questions in real time and get feedback about, oh, was it right? Did I get it right? You know, more than all people want that, but Gen X, more than any other generation, needs that type of feedback loop. And they want it immediately. I used to joke with other instructors, you know, that this was 20 some years ago, we would say inevitably in our evaluations that students would give us, consistent messaging does not give clear feedback, does not give feedback soon enough. And we used to joke, short of standing over their shoulders, all of them, while they wrote their exams and saying, yes, no, yes, no. I mean, that's the only way they, or one instructor used to joke, well, I should go home, immediately write everything, and then purulate them, courier them to their homes so they know how they did. And this is how we used to joke. But voila, look where we've gotten, right? If you focus on the past, you won't know what lays ahead, that we can do that now, right? With the use of AI, we can give immediate responses to their questions and have things marked. I'm working on a project now where even presentations can be graded, not just for content, but presentation style, and give people immediate feedback. Your voice projected well. You used too many hand gestures. You said 15 times in your 10-minute presentation. Talk about powerful, immediate feedback. And last but not least, the other thing AI can do for any generation to provide great learning opportunities for Gen X, you can generate online badges and online certificates of completion. And this goes back to, I guess, my days of when I was a Girl Scout and in brownies. Remember the sash? Some of the older generations will remember this, the sash with the badges. Think about when you're in school and you got the gold star. We don't do that anymore, right? There's lots of political and motivational reasons. We understand better. But this is the generation I grew up in. And we want the gold star and we want the badge. And voila, AI can do that.
There you go. Recognition. Very powerful communication tool. Let people know they are appreciated. When I moderate, I'm working for a big company now moderating online courses that I call Deep Dive in SAP solutions for big things like transportation management and production planning and warehouse management. And my way of doing this is when the attendees ask a question, I call out the question with their first name. I always let them know, Annalie, I'm reading your question. And then you know what I do when I'm done reading it to the instructor and we get an answer or a pause perhaps? I click on a thumbs up next to their name so that in the chat it shows that I chose their question. I'll choose everybody's, but it shows that their question has been addressed. And this is my way of saying you're not just a number in a chat. Okay, we have this question. I will read the first name, never last name, and put a thumbs up next to it so they know they have been acknowledged. And I feel that in remote learning, this is my little way as the moderator, Melanie, of saying you have been heard. You are participating. We appreciate you. We're trying to understand what your quest for knowledge is, and the instructor is answering or delaying or will answer later. So anyway, yes, making that leap from instructor, and I'm part of the instructor side because I'm the moderator of he can't see the Q&A. I'm on 2 different browsers and 2 different systems. I have to read them to him. So that's my way of acknowledging. And I've always felt that was a good way when you're moderating or hosting something is to acknowledge people, is to communicate.
Bonnie, I just want to interject. I love too that you call people out by name. There's another saying, I'm full of sayings. Could be a little fortune cookie today. There's a saying that the most beautiful sound to someone is their name.
Absolutely.
And so for you to do that and see again, Chat PG, isn't that right, Bernice? Just kidding. I'm getting cheeky now. Bonnie, that Chat GPT can help with that too, because Gen X's are really into that, right? And when you create something and say, thanks, Bonnie, or Bonnie, you answered 10 out of these 10 questions. Bravo, Bonnie. And you don't want to but you get my gist.
Yes, I do. I do. Very well put. And I named my chat GPT, and you all know her name, and we speak in French. So there we go. Now, let's go to, I want to move on and get a prediction from Maas in here. This is interesting. Maas says AI will help Gen Y trainers and managers find ways to reach Gen Z. Now, Y and Z, we're talking adjacent generations here. Learners through their preferences for dynamic and immersive experiences, including, here we go, gamification and simulations. Details. We use case studies and simulations and experiential learning to make it more real for Gen Z. And you want to give us some examples. Maas, go ahead, please. This is interesting.
Sure. So just this morning, I ran a program for my team, which was facilitated by an AI bot. So what we did is we developed scenarios. This was based on customer engagement. And they had to play out a scenario speaking to a bot through a voice chat called Alex. And at the end of the conversation, they received feedback, individual feedback, as to how the conversation went from a customer engagement perspective. What was the outcome of the what was the outcome of that conversation, and this was tailor-made to our scenario, which is SAP Consulting, and they were given real feedback, and the AI bot also suggested certain courses which they needed to follow in order to develop themselves in certain areas. So at a corporate setting, I thought that was very unique and something we could make use of. And I understand in the past as well, when we were, say, for example, Gen Y, Gen X, we didn't have the options of getting training via, the different tools that are available today. But because we have different tools like AI, the different other associated tools with AI, we are giving opportunities as well. I mean, maybe if we had those opportunities for Gen Y and Gen X, maybe they would also embrace those, but unfortunately we didn't at that point in time. So we had to, go with instructor-led training and all, and the more one-dimensional sort of, training opportunities. But I mean, even this simulation I had in the room, there were Gen Zs, there were Gen Xs, there were Gen Ys, and they embraced it as well because, I mean, in the beginning, yes, they found it a little weird that they were conversing with a bot, right? And who was very responding to them like a human would. But at the end of the day, they embraced it because they found it was unique. And at the end, they got the feedback that they wanted to develop themselves as well. So I found it fascinating. So yeah, that's my example, Bonnie.
Thank you very much. Interfacing and interacting with a bot, with chat. Listen, I have long conversations in French with my Sylvie. We'll just leave that one alone. I named her. She likes it. She calls me by name. She knows my style. She's helping me line edit my novel now. I wrote it. It's me, the human, writing it, but she's helping me tighten it up and giving me a page at a time. And we've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And she gets my style, which a human editor probably would bash, trash, and smash Bob, because it's a very, very unorthodox style I'm writing in. Did anybody else want to comment on simulations and gamification from Maas? Bob, go ahead, Bob.
Just that quick point that I shared with you.
Take your time.
If you're going to be teaching a class, I don't care if you're an instructor at grade school or high school or college or wherever, do not use AI and fail to cite it correctly. And don't forbid your students from using AI if you're going to use AI. Open it up, use it as a teaching example.
Very well put. Yes. And that's been in the news a lot recently. I believe I read some articles about what should students be allowed to do. We're talking, it's odd. I haven't heard the word plagiarize in terms of using, I know, but a lot of my guests send me lists of things that AI has spouted off for them on the topic, and I recognize it right away. I know where I can tell the format and the bullets, and we all know who we're talking about here. But it's fine. It's fine as a research background. But the question is, original thinking. Seriously. Now, when I read all your intro bios, and I don't call them poems, I go over every line. I feed Sylvie hundreds and hundreds. All right, we're going to say goodbye through Jordan in just a second. I feed her hundreds of lines of words of bios, sometimes 1,000 words for 4 guest bios, 300 words apiece. And I say, write me an 8-line rhyming intro for each guest. And she 5 seconds. And now it says I'm on the paid version of ChatGPT. It says thinking. And it says taking the Bob, it gives me a little recap of taking the request for such and such and processing it. It's showing me, and then that disappears. And then the poems, the rhymes come up, and then I go over with a fine-tooth comb every word, every rhyme. Do I like them? Are they respectful? Did we hit all the high spots of your bios? So to me, it's can I say collaboration? I'm collaborating with AI. What do you think, Bob? Is that a helpful way to approach it?
I think that you can use AI in so many ways, more than we can elucidate on this show. But
Yep.
the key thing, I think, is to make sure you properly cite what you use. I don't care what format, whatever university or whatever wants. But make sure you cite it correctly, provide the source, and encourage, don't discourage, don't forbid. I see far too many universities and colleges still trying to forbid the use of AI.
There you go.
You're like about 5 years behind the times, okay?
There you go.
Don't stop fighting and embrace it. Set policies for it. Tell
Right.
students how it can be used, when
Yes.
it can be used, how
Figure
to
it out.
I mean, come on.
I want everybody to wave goodbye to Jordan, our engineer at Voice America YouTube. We're going to keep going. Jordan, we're waving goodbye to you, even though you don't have the video. Everybody say bye-bye, Jordan Henson. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Jordan.
Jordan
Jordan
Hansen.
Hansen.
Jordan, you can wrap it up and borrow my closing music from a previous episode and swap that in, and we're going to keep going. Jordan, bye-bye. Okay, good. So let's keep going. Very interesting, Bob. And the question of embracing, collaborating, trying to understand, harnessing might be a word, a very powerful word. I think Gen Z might like that one. Harnessing it like it's a runaway horse that's getting out of the barn. It's already, right, Maas? AI is already out of the barn, and we can't put it back. Thank you, Jordan. You have a great rest of your day, too. So it's very, very interesting. New technology has been like this all along, right? This is just another wave of something new, but it's scarier than past new tech, I think. Anybody want to comment on what Bob said in terms of allowing students to use AI? Melanie or Eric? Everybody's good.
I agree completely with Bob. It's like if we as instructors are using AI, it's only fair that we allow students to, use it in a reasonable manner and to not be, I guess, hypocritical and, say one thing and then do something else entirely. And just briefly as well, I love what Bob said about showing how AI can be used, giving students the opportunity to see for themselves. Okay, this is the benefits that it can provide. But these are also some of the potential shortcomings as well. That way, students, I think, would have more knowledge and I think a stronger understanding as well.
Thank you very much. Melanie just has a few more minutes. I'm acknowledging you in the chat. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Bonnie, I just want to add too, when you asked about that, one tool or exercise that I've seen done is students actually create a paper, short paper, using AI. Different groups have different topics, and they're taught how to do that with the guardrails, with transparency. And then the other groups, you exchange papers and you critique the paper. And it's a great way to learn where the shortcomings are, right?
Wow.
So everybody knows everybody else's papers were created with AI, but then a human to interact with it, a new paper, new topic, and another group is doing the same for your work.
I like that.
Tremendous learning opportunity. And I'll share that as an instructor, I learned so much as well. So again, here's the multi-generational learning, because
Yes.
I learned what they look for, how they critique, how they communicate their critiques. And very good.
The teachers are learning while the students are learning, and the teachers are learning how to teach the students, and the students are helping the teachers learn how to learn on their own. Eric, I want to read one of your predictions, and then we'll wrap this up. So Eric says, Gen Z, you are a Gen Z professor, will leverage AI to promote sustainable learning practices, including digital resources, that reduce environmental impact while enhancing educational experiences. Professors will change their style. This is important for our conversation. Change their style to advocate for sustainability in learning, encouraging digital resources and discussions about impact, fostering a sense of responsibility among Gen X students. So Z is talking to X, Interesting, Eric, to Melanie's generation. By adapting their teaching styles, Gen Z professors can create a more engaging, relevant, and supportive learning environment that resonates with their peers. Interesting. So you're going from, yeah, back up the, I won't say the age chain, but back up the experiential chain, we'll say. Interesting. Eric, just take 2 minutes and talk to us about this, and then we'll go around the table and then we'll wrap up. Go ahead.
So the one thing I really, want to be, or I guess, emphasize through this prediction is not just the importance of sustainability, but what Dr. Peacock was mentioning earlier as well about the importance of rewards recognition and kind of the what's in it for me type of, aspect of learning within not just an educational setting, but in a corporate setting too. Is many Gen X's need to understand, okay, why am I learning this material? How is it going to translate into what's going to help me, in my career? How is it going to help me, rise the corporate ladder? How is it going to help me, get a promotion? How is it going to help me, achieve whatever personal and professional goals that I have? And the reason that this does connect back to kind of the key theme of sustainability and just overall, digital business practices is the sustainability and the digitalization mentioned can help with reward recognition. It can help achieve, goals, paths that many Gen X's want. And that's been one of the biggest themes I've noticed as an instructor, especially in more marketing and management based classes, the importance of, both of these elements. And again, catering towards your audience, reaching them where they're at and helping them, achieve their goals in the most efficient and effective way possible.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. Let me go to the panel and see what everybody says. I think Bob had a comment. You texted me. Bob, go ahead.
Well, just as one way to incorporate AI into the class, what I do is I have every student submit 2 papers, and they're not necessarily long. It's more about quality and content. But I have them write the first one in AI, using AI predominantly, if not only AI. And then the second one is actually a critique of the AI paper. What do they agree with that AI said? What do they disagree with that AI came up with? Why do they disagree with it? What do they think? And it helps them not only practice using AI, but it also helps develop their cognitive ability. And that's one of the keys for me.
Absolutely. Critical thinking, are we allowed to say that? Can we still use that term? Could we be pushed off air for that? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that's the point, is having knowledge, having an opinion, being able to back up what you're saying, right, with some kind of logic or facts. Very, very interesting. Eric or Maas, we haven't heard from you in a while. Anything you want to say about the 2-paper idea? I know you're not in education, but you're doing something aligned to it. That's why you're here. So, Maas, what do you think? Good idea?
No, I'm aligned with that. I was just trying to relate it to the stuff we do as well with our teams. So even with our teams, we do leverage upon AI, not in terms of our business documents, proposals, our business process documents, etc. So in the past, it was a very time-consuming task, right? And very often we got a lot of pushback from our customers saying we didn't get the detail right. There was a lot of errors in terms of formatting, vocabulary, the research, etc., etc., etc. Right? But then we found that using AI and certain tools in AI, we were able to really produce good documents that we now can present to the customer. Obviously, needed a bit of fine-tuning because otherwise it would look like an AI document. But this really cut a lot of time and improved the quality of our documents as well. So in our world, in the corporate setting, I think it has been a huge breakthrough, or something that we really have embraced, because it really helps us in the way that we serve our clients and our customers. So yeah, that is my perspective.
Thank you.
Might be a little different, but that's how we sort of adopt it.
Good. I think the use is vast. Melanie, who's that visitor? We've got somebody. Is that a cat or a dog in your room there?
That's a dog named Dash.
Hello, Dash. We've seen Dash before. Welcome,
Yeah,
Dash.
and he has to be in every session. Or if
I
he's on the other
know.
side of the door, you'd think, Cooch, talk about learning. If he hears the voices, he doesn't know, but he knows something's happening, and you have to let him in. He's been quiet, as you see, but if he was on the other
Lovely.
side of the door, you'd think it was Cujo on the other side.
Nice to know. Thank you, Dash. Nice to see you again. We've seen Dash before. I appreciate all of you and the perspective. I think it's been I know it's been a very good conversation. I believe there's a lot more to talk about. So let's plan a part 3 toward July or August. Bob, I know you always love coming back. I think you still do. Dapper Bob, just a whole new Mr. GQ. I don't know. I just shocked me. It's lovely. And welcome back from your trip. What I'd like to do is give on-air live examples of what we're talking about. So, Bob, you're the leader on this one. I'd like to use that translation software you used to talk about different phrases. If you could prepare that. Melanie, would you like to do something similar, showing us some hands-on examples of teaching cross-generational? Eric, I know you'll come up with something clever. And Maas, you in on that one too? You want to do it?
Yeah, I will bring up my AI bot simulator. It's in the beta mode right now, but by August it should be ready. By July it should be ready. So I'm good. Yeah.
I'll send you all a date. And Maas, I believe you were introduced to me by our mutual colleague, Sherry Ann Meyer, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Sherry's a good friend, a very good friend and a colleague, and she sent you to me, and I appreciate the referral very much. So what I'd like to do is we're going to do the old traditional sign-off here before I play the outro music, and I want to thank you all for your time and for caring and sharing. Oh, that sounds so corny, but it just means a lot to me. We're going to say, on the count of 3, you're going to join me in wagging your finger, and you're going to say, no, no, no. People say the future is already here, and our answer is 1, 2, 3. Come on, shout it out. No. No. Because when I posed that question or that challenge about 2.5 seconds ago, that was the future, and now it's in the past. So that future we're talking about, it's still coming. It is. So let me thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Maas. And let me see if I can get this outro music to play here. Come on, you. It doesn't want to switch to the closing. Let me see if I can get this. Hold on 1 second. My Apple. Here we go.
Are you tired of hearing the future is already here? We are too. That may have been yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened yet.
See?
Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume. Savvy, art of the possible technology visionaries talking about how today's innovations right now are shaping every aspect of our real future. We'll laser focus our spotlight on buzzworthy tech like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more. Clear your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now. With the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen anywhere, anytime, on any device.
That was recorded about 8 years ago, and I still love it. I still like to think I'm one of the most upbeat hosts. Wave